We are back. Hey, everybody. We have Michelle Cohan right here.
Hello.
Hey, welcome, Michelle. Robert Greenblatt. Michelle and I were talking about bad open houses. Open houses can be bad. What does that mean when we say bad, right? So there's a few things about open houses which may not be great and could be concerning depending on your perspective. And the
Right.
first thing that I want Michelle to share with us is something that I bet most of you haven't thought about. Michelle, what's one of your concerns when hosting an open house?
Safety, my own safety, especially as a
Your,
female agent.
your safety.
Correct.
Interesting. We talk about, and you hear occasional stories, or we hear occasional stories, touring homes with a new client or a client that we don't really know and potential safety concerns there. But you really don't hear people talk about this. And I didn't even know you felt this way, but you do.
I do. I mean, literally, my husband comes with me for every single open house.
Right.
Like, I won't do an open house by myself.
Right. No matter where it is, you don't want to be alone at an open house.
No. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I definitely my concern for safety, but there's a lot of reasons especially as a female, to not do something like that by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you just being extra careful. There's no one's going to ever argue with you about that. Right. So that's a huge point that I think a lot of people have not given much thought to. Now, when we're talking with sellers about open houses, there are a few other concerns that a seller may or may not have. One of the first concerns has to do with the security of the house,
Correct.
right? In reality, if I'm or you or one of our team members are hosting an open house and we're there alone, although we know you're not usually
Nope.
there alone, but if we're there alone, and there are 3 or 4 sets of guests wandering around the house, number one, we really don't know them, even if they've signed in, right? We don't know them like we know a client who we're escorting through a house.
Right.
So we don't know. And number two, we can't keep an eye on 3 or 4 sets of people simultaneously,
Right.
right? So there's always a chance. Now, guys, just remember this is the rare occurrence in our world.
Yeah.
Most people are good. It's rare there's a big issue, but some sellers do get a little paranoid about this because it's really our most sacred place, our
Mhm.
home,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So there are, we tell them, make sure the prescription medicines are put away, make sure there's no cash laying around. It seems obvious, no jewelry laying around, right? But you had something wild happen. When we talk about security, you were hosting an open house not that long ago, and the house had cameras, right? So Mason and I did a video about home security
Yes.
cameras, but this house had security cameras. And what happened while you were at the open house?
So I get a call from the seller, and he said, "Michelle, I need you to go up to whatever bedroom it was. There's children opening up the drawers that have guns in there." I'm like, "Really? You didn't remove the guns?" So the entire time on the open house, I literally had to stand guard of that room.
So many things wrong with that, right? So many things. Uh, kids shouldn't. Nobody should be opening up drawers to
Correct.
furniture. Occasional kitchen cabinet, maybe,
Yeah.
right? Furniture, no way. No one should be touching that. Two, especially kids shouldn't be touching any of the furniture. That's two things. Third thing, uh, I don't have firearms, but
Yeah.
aren't firearms supposed to be locked up in a safe?
These were specific drawers that were made for this,
Okay.
unbeknownst to me.
Okay, but they weren't locked.
No.
Right.
They were
So
not.
that's a problem. I mean, God forbid. We're making light of it, of course, because nobody got hurt, nothing happened. But that's just common sense, right, guys? That's just common sense. The other thing that sometimes happens in an open house, again, rare. There are situations where somebody touring the house, they may not be looking to make any trouble at the open house, but they might be eyeballing it, right, for something in the
You never know.
future.
Yeah,
You
you never
never you never know. We don't hear too many stories where that we know that's actually happening, but every once in a while, as real estate agents, we do get an email if there is a pattern of a certain person or people and there's a description of them and they know that something is not right through other agents reporting the situation to the board. So we have systems in place to identify this stuff and share it with our fellow agents here. But that's something else that could happen, right? And then we talked about one more thing having to do with after the open house, right?
Right.
Also tied to a potential concern.
Correct. So what I do after an open house, not only do I check doors, I also check windows, which I don't think a ton of people think about. But
Right.
again, you just never know. It's just one more step just to secure the house for your client.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. And I bet a lot of people don't think about that, just like they didn't think about that first point about your own security as an agent, right? It's so easy for someone to just unlock a window behind the drapes or behind the blinds and not think anything of it. I'll go to the extra step is even if I know that a few windows are unlocked upon arrival, I'll still lock them when I leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we do notice that a lot in houses that a lot of people don't latch them fully, or they're not lined up right and they may think they're latched and they're not really latched.
Yeah.
And especially on the first floor, look, you know, we service beautiful suburban areas. It's rarely an issue, but that's just our own paranoia wanting to make sure that the house at that moment is being taken care of in a way that we would take care of our own homes. Yeah. Right. So that is a few things about open houses that we're calling it bad, but they're not bad, but they're things, they're things to think about, right? Definitely things to think about. Remember, we had that other video not that long ago about good things about open houses. So it all depends on your perspective, right? There's good and bad with everything. I think that's a wrap. All right. Awesome. Guys, take a minute, like this video, subscribe to our channel. Please share this video. It really helps us. We appreciate it. Michelle Cohan right there.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys again real soon.